game developed by a single guy, Lucas. Lucas's game development story starts well before Paper Please. Actually, chart his progress all the way back to the 90s. His story starts where most good ones do. Movie Anaconda. He worked with a team of fellow developers to make a mod pack for the game based on the movie, with official sanctioning from Sony Pictures. Lucas and the rest of the team, emboldened by working on 6-time Razzie nominee Anaconda, would go on to form Rattlin and first game a Quake called Balance. The biggest thing working against them, though, was the era. We live in an indie game golden age where small developers are even, what, I can't get out to the entire population of Earth. Steve and Angel. How are you supposed to do that back in the day? Just take out an ad in the paper and say, come on down to Jeremy's house if you want to try out the Midlands class. They needed a publisher to get their games on the shelves, and that would come in the form of Activision. The game that convinced Activision to bring them aboard was Gearhead Garage. For the time, it was considered an oddity in the game because it was all about fixing cars that you would never get to drive. What we know now as a simulator game was such a foreign concept back in the day, it was enough to get Activision interested in the fledgling developer. This was back in an era where The Sims was considered something that would never make money. The team wouldn't publish any noteworthy games before Lucas decided to leave. Action would be one that Lucas carried for the rest of his career. He would end up at Real-Time Associates, working on the game Remission, all about helping children with cancer get more comfortable with their treatments. Oh, this video's just a fucking barrel of laughs. Once that was all done, he'd move to Santa Monica to work with Naughty Dog on the first 2 Uncharted games. With all the experience he'd gotten from working on these AAA games, Lucas decided to take a bold new direction in his career. Quitting? Yeah, Lucas decided to quit the AAA games industry and move to Japan with his wife and fellow game designer Keiko Ishizaka. See, making games as bombastic as Uncharted is nice and all, but Lucas was more interested to get back to the experimental types of games he got to make back at Ratloop. He'd be able to make games like Mightier and Hellsing's Fire back with Ratloop, and develop games like Republia Times for Game Jams. This was a game all about writing newspaper headlines and balancing people actually wanting to read the newspaper and not publishing stories that will get the government to kill you and your entire family. The longer and longer the game goes on, the more and more goals you need to meet that stretch you thin to try and please everybody until eventually something breaks. Despite how that sounds, this isn't the game that influenced Papers, Please. No, that was Rocket Bird's Hard-Boiled Chickens. See, Lucas and his wife were helping to port the game to the PS3, and that job required constant trips back and forth from Singapore to the United States. The constant shuffling through customs eventually landed Lucas on the idea that what he's going through right now would make an awesome video game. When the game had to go through its own customs check on Steam Greenlight, people were quick to ask, how would you make Border Patrol fun and interesting? A few years later, and the game is winning BAFTAs, Game Developers' Choice Awards, and was selling well over 1 million copies. Papers, Please is one of the most successful and beloved indie games of the 2010s, and I really wanted to talk about it. But golly, the game doesn't make that easy. You play as nobody in particular. You are nameless and faceless. Your most defining traits are that you have a job and have a family, but those can both be taken away from you. That job is working for the Arstotzkian government, having been selected out of a lottery to head up a brand new checkpoint at an important border. That's all you're told about your job because that's all you're allowed to know. The border itself divides the eastern and western halves of Berlin. I mean Berlin. I mean Berlin. I mean Dresden. And while the western side of the city in Kolechia is a bunch of dog-kicking, piss-guzzling murderers, the eastern half in Arstotzka is pretty much utopia. Have I mentioned Arstotzka's state-of-the-art surveillance technology? These guys can tell you how many times you blinked in a given day. So it's our first day on the job, and being a nameless, faceless nobody means we're replaceable, so we've got to do our job well. What's our job? Simple. Let Arstotzkians into the country and turn away everybody else. Well, if the game persists like this, I'm gonna roll right through it. When somebody hands you an Arstotzkian passport, let them in. If they spit on your national pride by handing you a different passport, kick them out. The first day is intentionally slow. Just stamp the right stamp onto the passport as haphazardly as you like. Get as many done before quitting time at 6 o'clock, and you've done your job. Once you're finished with the day, you get a report on how much money you've made. $5 for every passport you process. You have to make sure you earn enough money to keep the lights on and your family fed. But if the belt starts to tighten, you can always just not heat your house for a day. Bundle up, son! I don't care if you can't feel your fingers! The warmth of our fellow men in the bread lines is gonna have to keep us warm today! The next day, the government decides to let anybody into the country so long as they have a valid passport, which is where the real game starts. The go, go, go attitude of the first day is gone, as now you have to be incredibly careful about how you handle things. See, before, we could trust the Arstotzkian people to come in with the proper papers, but now that we're letting the riffraff in, we gotta deal with people who draw out their passports in crayon. You need to check if the passport comes from the right city, if the person's height and weight are the same, that they look the same, and that the passport hasn't expired. All of this immediately puts tons and tons of pressure onto you. If you screw up a detail and miss a flaw in a passport, you get a warning. You get 3 warnings and they start to dock your pay for every one you let slip through. You start getting paranoid that you're missing something and wasting time, and by the time you realize there was nothing wrong, you've lost a ton of time you could have spent checking passports. That means less money at the end of the day, and that means you might not be able to feed your family. It's only the second day, and the pressure has already been ratcheted up to a level that the first day did not prepare you for. I screwed up at the first chance I got by not catching a guy for an out-of-date passport and spent the rest of the day nervously checking through every detail to make sure I don't mess up again. I was checking to make sure that April came before November. That's how badly I was burned. Thankfully, before I could suffer another embarrassing snafu like that, someone hopped the wall and blew up my guard with a bomb. Not the worst way I've gotten out of an awkward situation. So after that, we need to start vetting people even more rigorously. Now, alongside their passport, they need an entry ticket which only works that day. Oh yeah, all your stuff's in order. Nice try. Sorry if that sounded sarcastic, it was a very nice try. Welcome to our beautiful country. While the ticket is another thing to juggle, it's not the worst thing ever. That would be capitalism. This day is still all about learning the ropes of your discrepancy detector and how to spot incorrect information. And as soon as you get complacent, somebody comes by with a flaw so minor that your eyes just glaze over it. Eventually, though, this goblin of a man comes around and is so audacious he doesn't even show up with a passport. This stuns me for a few good seconds while I try to figure out how somebody even tries to think this will work. I sure do hope I never meet him again for the rest of my life. In a shocking twist, my day ends without another terror attack or wrongly processed passport. Unfortunately, letting people into the country was our first mistake, as the black market in Arstotzka has begun to boom, and I need to start vetting even more diligently. Here's where the game starts to get even more complicated. Now, all foreigners are required to have a document stating their purpose for visiting and how long until they get out, and citizens of Arstotzka need an ID card. Now you have to be listening out for how long they plan on staying in the country and for what reason, and make sure it lines up with what's on the document. On top of that is the fact that Arstotzkians and everybody else have different documentation, meaning that you can't even stay certain about what you're dealing with. Thankfully, Georgie comes back to give me a layup, which was very kind of him. Thank you, Georgie. There are horror games that don't give the same sort of anxiety you get from watching somebody leave the checkpoint and waiting to see if a citation pops up. If you did everything right, it feels so good to not have one pop up. But when it does... sound was a mistake! Trackstar wanted for murder! Oh, what I wouldn't give to get my hands on a guy like that. By pure coincidence, I just got the ability to detain people that are being too rowdy or who are doing illegal things. Other than that, not much has changed. We're still just trying to make ends meet. I'm looking to keep today low profile. I don't really want to deal with a lot. See, just an average guy trying to get into the... Sir, everything seems to be in order, but you've been selected for a random screening. Could you please dribble this football? Well, ×3. Where the Publia fails, the great state of Arstotzka wins. Did you know our president once beat the whole Harlem Globetrotters team at the same time? If we could see footage of that, I'm sure it would be rad. Lots more people today come by with passport problems, but luckily I'm able to keep up. 9 people processed, and I'm still free from any issues. That is until this jerk. I hate him so much. He comes through, papers in order, up to date, the model citizen we're more than happy to welcome into the country. Then his wife shows up. Lady swaggers up to the stand without an entry permit and wants to be let in. Every ounce of Arstotzkian blood in my body wants wants to stamp that passport red like it deserves, but by complete accident and not at all on purpose, I slip and stamp it green. Whoops. This is my one good deed for the year. Don't expect it to happen again. Luckily, I'm otherwise flawless and get a whole 12 people processed without losing any money. Another day, another dollar, and it turns out they're adding another paper for me to worry about in the form of a work pass. Now, if you want to work in Arstotzka, you need a pass showing what your job is. Despite the increase in the workload, I'm still handling it like the champ I am, until a lady slips me a paper saying there's a man in line forcing her and her sisters to work in a brothel. So now I'm on the lookout for the skeeviest looking guy I can find. Oh, hey Georgie, still not getting into my country. At least he has the decency to be really, really bad at this. Alright, who's next? Danny Will you stand still for just a second? My friend Strong Terry wants to talk to you. Didn't even get a citation. I'm doing morally good things and not upsetting the government. I'm an objectively good person, and everything I do is the right thing to do. Alrighty, immigrating from Western Breston to Eastern Breston? Congratulations on entering civilized society. Let's just make sure the rest of this is in order, and the worst part is I knew it was gonna happen. Luckily, we're still able to get the headline in the newspaper the next day for all that human trafficking I stopped. Since we don't want more people blowing up on my watch, we've installed a scanner into the booth which can spot contraband. It's up to me to scan all collections that enter the country today to make sure they aren't trying to smuggle in human bones to do curses with. You know they believe in curses, right? This lady is a boss fight. Doesn't have her entry permit, bam! Second health bar. Names don't match on the documents, whips out the surname. Just when I get comfy, this guy moseys up with his gun. Sir, if you got this in Western Breston, it probably doesn't even work, but I'm arresting you anyway, because I don't like you. Sir, what is this? What is this, sir? Does the sign above my booth say comedy club? It doesn't even look like a relative you could have. Oh, fingerprints don't match up. Oh, you don't say. I almost detained him out of the audacity of it. You're no Georgie. Georgie would have shown up with a mustache drawn on his passport in pencil. Get out of my sight. I spent so long yelling at that guy, I was only able to get 10 people done in a day. Now I only have $10 to my name. So the collection government sends us a smoke signal saying they weren't happy about the random searches, and now I need a real reason to use the scanner. They're getting bolder. This guy doesn't have a passport, but he does have an entry permit. Now see, Georgie comes in. This guy's classically trained. Comes with a ticket. We don't accept this. Bang, bang, boom, we're done here. Is it so much to ask people consider how boring my job is? After letting a fake diplomat into the country to make sure that everybody else is doing their job, this weirdo in a hood shows up, gives me a piece of paper, and dips. He better count towards my daily people process or I am in for a world of hurt. The paper they gave me said Corman Drax on it, so if I see someone with that name, I should look out. The rest of the day is pretty uneventful, and that Corman Drax guy never showed up. Or maybe he did. I wasn't really paying attention. I kind of thought it was a Star Wars character. Time for the day to start, but before it does, I get talked to by a guard who tells us we get a kickback if we keep detaining people. So it looks like minor infractions just became big deals. It says on this document that you were 23 a year ago, but now you're 24. Enjoy jail, fucker. As if my job couldn't get any more interesting.
I forgot to take a fucking picture.
Shows up and says there's an imposter in line and gives me 2 packets. One's filled with fake info and the other is filled with real info, and it's up to me to dole out the fake one to the imposter. I'm able to pass on the false papers to the imposter, and she even pays me for them, so
I feel like an idiot, but at the same time,
couldn't be going that well, obviously, so that Drex guy shows up and gives me a sheet of letters to hold on to. He's part of a group called Ezek who want to overthrow the Arstotzkian government, which would be bad because they pay me, and who would want to overthrow the Arstotzkian government? Did you know our president has an 8-foot vertical leap? At the start of the next day, the divisional authority for my border shows up and gives me a plaque for doing just good enough at my job to not get fired. I'd work a lot harder if I got awards for the bare minimum work. See, more people are feeling froggy showing up without passports, and now they won't leave my booth. Strong Terry, give them the business. I developed a new policy. If you lie to me to the degree I have to get out the fingerprints, you're going to jail because you're wasting my time. The Ezek guy comes back and gives me a cipher to read the sheet I just got, which spells out a passport code. Guys, I'm trying to let him down easy. How do I tell him I'm not going to Dude's birthday party. For the first time in forever, a day goes by where nothing goofy happens. No bombs, no guns, no Georgie. By God, I finally get to go to sleep happy. I mean, I only have $15 to go between 5 people, but whatever. Good times can't last, though, since at the start of the next day, they tell me someone is forging fake entry permits, and now I have to sniff that out alongside all the other stuff I've found. I'll tell you right now, I didn't find a single one of them. They always just flew right under the radar, because I didn't really know what I was looking for. But there's a stamp onto the permit you gotta look out for, and I never spotted it. Thankfully, after today, it never came up again, and I spent the rest of the game checking for a problem that never existed. Alright, Georgie, let's make this quick. It's all correct. Georgie did it! He actually made it into the country! I'm so proud of him, really, I am! So with another slow day, I want to take a little time to talk about the looks of the game. Obviously, the art style for character portraits is super stylized and swings from human to gargoyle like a metronome, but the character design is only half the story. At any given time, your screen is flooded with info that you need to process super fast in order to get the person in and out as fast as possible. The clutter adds to the stress factor because eventually the documents pile up to the point that they overlap and you need to start shuffling papers around to find what you need. Then when you start to let the nerves get to you, you get sloppy, you get complacent, you think, I know what I'm doing, and as soon as that happens, we're bombing! The thing that makes Papers, Please so effective is how mundane its terror is. It's less an outwardly shocking and scary game, and more a game that breaks you down bit by having you be part of such a soul-crushing system. Sometimes the moral choice and the choice that keeps your family happy and healthy aren't always the same, and maybe you have to be selfish once or twice. It's not easy, it's certainly not fun, but it's what you need to do. The strength of Papers, Please is the same strength as Gearhead Garage all the way back in the 90s. You're never in the action itself, but at the same time you feel how stressful the whole thing is. At any given point, people are trying to shoot at you, blow you up, or ram a car into the border, but the most terrifying thing in the whole game is that you might mistake a poorly written D for a B and let somebody into the country that shouldn't have been. Now, I've taken a big risk, because in the time I've spent talking about art styles and symbolism through gameplay, a Wes Creston could have gotten in. And did you know they all hate your favorite movie? While we were busy, this guy dropped off some business cards and said I get a commission if I give them out to engineers. Then some dickhead comes in and insults my nice plaque. Get out of my country. Nice job turning back that false passport. You had a false passport? Okay, so people keep getting blown up at my checkpoint, but it's purely coincidental. You couldn't make it stand up in court. These Ezek dopes dropped off $2,000 to try to get me to join their after-school club, but I know better. A Wes Creston could have touched this, so I burn it to keep my family warm another night. Shame it is, then, that I had to turn off the heat because my day was cut short and I didn't make enough money. I have to start performing better or else my family's never gonna make it through the December cold. Now everybody needs identity supplements, so I have access to their height and weight. The soccer player for our winning team comes back into the country and gives me a banner to hang from my booth. Hey, thanks, dude. Still not getting into the country. I can't afford to be nice anymore. Really, I can't. Have you seen my bank account? I'm in the red. If I'm nice one more time, I think my son's gonna die of frostbite. Rest of the day goes off without a hitch as I send people on their way, regardless of if that's into the country, back out, or into a jail cell. Sure, a guy tried to bring a knife into the country, and a lady had a bomb strapped to herself right in front of me, but decided not to blow herself up. He must be my personality. Every day's a new chance to make a difference, and today's my day to get some bad dudes off the streets. See, the Arstotzkian people are so kind and generous that some disgusting vandals from unnamed western cities have started committing crimes in the country. Now it's up to me to take down Arstotzkia's most wanted. Every day you get a list of criminals to watch out for, and if you spot them, you can instantly detain them. Listen, this guy may not be a criminal, but he dropped 2 different passports into my lap. There's no legal reason you'd have 2 different passports from 2 different countries. Even with the threat of the most wanted criminals in the country, I don't have too much to sweat. People come and go with no issues, and I have the first peaceful day in a long, long time. I even managed to work my way back up to a cozy $15 to my name. Yeah, at the welfare line, they call me Fat Stacks. Come to think of it, they never really get to the stacks part. Another day, another potential for $1, am I right? Just gotta get this guy checked in, yeah, death door stuff. Welcome to my unboxing video. This is a live bomb. Strong Terry comes in and practices his tight five with me as I have to clip the wires of the bomb to stop us from all becoming soup. This doesn't even get us a 5-minute break. As soon as the bomb's disarmed, it's right back to work like nothing happened. Oh, honey, how was work today? I disarmed a bomb. Oh, the coffee machine broke. The Ezek guy comes back and he wants to see if I filled out his Valentine's Day letter. Not a chance, Buckaroo. Oh, look what you made me do! Why do I even need to be here if we have a magic machine 2 feet to the right that catches all my mistakes? I kicked the next 2 people out of the country to make sure all things are even. Did they deserve to get kicked out? Who's to say? Me, get out. You know what I love about you guys? Even though I'm going through all this, you guys still find a way to make just the dumbest mistakes. Okay, yeah, I guess I have been having it a bit too easy recently, so they've taken away Strong Terry. The only thing left between a madman and killing, like, I don't know, 1 billion people is me. Keep in mind that if push came to shove, I can only afford 60 gumballs with my entire life savings. I am the last line of defense for the entire nation. Oh, you changed your name from Lori to Lorray. A likely story. A very likely story, because it's true. Okay, enjoy the country. Just when it seems like things are winding down, the day comes that I've been preparing for all my morning, as I have to defend my home. I quickly unlock the case and get my gun, tranking the madman so he can get all the help he needs. Cut the day a little short, but I get a bonus for my sharp shooting. $60? Finally, me and my family can afford 1 AAA video game. This is fucking incredible. Going into work today, and before I can even read the paper, I make a new best friend. Sergio promises to keep me safe and has made the wise choice of being a distinct color compared to everybody else, so I feel the need to keep him safe. These Ezek creeps still want me in their boy band and won't take no for an answer. They even give me a little viewfinder disc to keep myself entertained until I can reject them again. This journalist dork comes by and tries to get into the country without proper documentation, saying his press pass should be enough. Sir, I've turned away much better sob stories than that one. What chance do you have? I am blazing through these passports now. 14 in 1 day is better than I've ever done before, and that's all thanks to my new strategy. Instead of flipping back and forth in a book, I decide to work smarter and not harder by printing this, a sheet with all the pertinent information from the book, including proper issuing cities, stamps, and political seals. Oh, yeah, these aren't my bite marks. Next day starts off fast as we catch wind of that journalist that we rightfully kicked out of the country, having published a story about how mean I am. But I'm not mean, I'm good, otherwise I wouldn't be right, and I'm always right. Now I need to give people a reason why they can't enter the country. I thought fuck off was a fine enough reason. One guy came by just to see what it feels like to be rejected. Wish I knew what that was like. Sir, it clearly states on the passport that you're coming to this country for a statistics job, but I'll have you know that the statistics industry in our Slutska has been kind of on a downturn. You might want to reconsider. Alright, $24 for shooting should cover my son's birthday gift of a $25 crayon set. That's outrageous. What is this? Communist realized what I was saying as I was saying it. I'll shut up now. We're getting closer and closer to Christmas, and as a gift, they've made my job a lot easier by letting me reject anybody from Impor since they've imposed trading sanctions on our Stotska. Man, I hope everybody imposes trading sanctions now. Oh man, it's Georgie. Oh hey, he's smuggling drugs into the country. You know what, Georgie? Most of the time I'd lock you up and throw away the key, but this time I'm in a really good mood. Get out of here, you lovable scamp. Thanks to the fact that I get to kick every Emporian in the pants, it means that my day goes smooth as honey. 14 people processed, and my son gets the coolest crayon set no money can buy. This thing's got colors you've never even heard of. Aw, my boy made me this beautiful picture. Oh, what a nice young man he's growing up to be. Oh, my branch manager's here. Don't worry, sir, I'll flush it down the toilet the first chance I get. You got nothing to worry about. He also gives me orders to let his friend in no matter what. Well, I'm sure she'll have her papers in order, so that won't be a problem, boss man. Guys, I'm starting to think that Ezek may be a little slow on the uptick. I've refused every single advance they've made to join their spooky pervert, and Still, they hand me a packet of poison and say, go get 'em, champ. Well, things could be worse. I could not know how poison tastes. Oh boy, more journalists. I like these guys. They're cocky enough to not even try to get the right paperwork. Ma'am, with all due respect, one of these photos looks like you lost a fight with a belt sander. That said, welcome to our country. Oh man, it's Kalinistan! This is the guy that Ezek wants me to kill. Oh, yep, just gonna put this poison there. Yep, totally doing it. While I'm at it, would you like some tea? Here, we got our best fairy princess working on it. Yeah, sorry, boys, but I only do the right thing. Otherwise, I'd be wrong, and the government is never wrong.
I miss
I love how
Picongo.
if you have someone in the booth at the end of the day, you can just keep them there as long as you want to really pour over every last detail of their passport. So, sir, here are 9 days, Ben. Next day comes and it's time for a fun new document for me to put up with. Those seeking asylum into the country now need a specific document with their info. Kinda wish everybody had one of these. Just makes my job easier if I had all that info on one sheet of paper instead of 2. Highlights of my day include a guy who begged me for a red stamp so he could break a work contract, and this guy who came by without his papers but offered up a prized family watch to get in. I'm getting soft. 2 citations for not doing my job. Better get hard again by killing somebody. My butterfingers end up getting 2 guards killed, but luckily not the one I could pick out of a crowd. His life means more because I know his name. Back at home, my sister gets arrested and now her daughter doesn't have a home. It sets me back a lot of money, but she's family and I can't leave her out like that. It just means I gotta work even harder now. No new rules to follow today, but that doesn't mean my day is any less interesting. I have to give up my soccer banner back to the guy who gave it to me.
I don't want to waste time going
now
through
how
the
am I
bridge.
supposed to lose $20? We get a visit from Georgie,
I
and
need
it
a
seems
memory.
like he's really trying to get this drug dealer gimmick over. Georgie's way too bad at his job to go to prison. He's way safer out here than he is in there. Some guy comes by offering me $10 for the watch I got as collateral, but I'm a man of my word. I may stop people from getting life-saving medicine, I may split up families, I may even let dangerous criminals into the country through sheer ineptitude, but when I get a watch, oh, it ain't going anywhere. Best of all, I don't even have to kill anybody by the end of the day, but I do now have a 4th mouth to feed. Hey there, niece, want to talk about, bugs? Oh, there's a big red motherfucker in line today. This isn't gonna be easy. Oh my god, Ezek, when Georgie keeps coming back, it's charming. When you do it, it's annoying. Kick rocks, you hooded freaks. Another lady comes by to try to buy the watch off me, but that's not happening. There's not a chance I'm giving this up. It's a matter of honor. This thing means a lot to, I think his name was Chuck. Ah, speak of the devil! As you can see, I have your watch and everything is it. It wouldn't be my least justified arrest. Get in and stay out. Someone tries jumping the border, which should be my cue to blast red guy away, but luckily I'm not a moron and won't be doing what some shadowy organization tells me to do. Okay, the government is having me confiscate our Stotskian passports to keep people from leaving the country. Must be for a great reason. Not like I need to know it. So now our Stotskians unlucky enough to live in certain regions of the country are having their passports taken away. Ezek returns to the booth just to tell me I ruined his plans and... Oh, Georgie, Porgy, who belongs in a gorgie. The police are wise to your tricks and traps, dude. You're going to jail. I love how at this point our character's just going through the motions with Georgie. He shows up, I find the drugs. He pisses off, and the cycle starts all over again. I catch a guy trying to smuggle drugs into the country, but then for some reason I get a citation because I didn't confiscate his passport while having him arrested. You're going away for a long, long time, Scuzzbucket, but also here's your passport back. We're not evil or something. No, family, you don't understand. If I spend the money, then I don't have the money anymore. Sergio stops me before I start work the next day and asks a favor. There's a girl named Alyssa he met back during the war and he wants me to let her in. I mean, as long as she has the right paperwork, she'll get in no problem. Also, the United Federation is in the throes of a full-blown pandemic. I've been training for this. First 2 people at the checkpoint,
I've been training
2
for this.
rejections in less than 30 seconds. I mean, she insulted my child's artwork, so she was already on the fast track out of here, but now I can legally keep her out of the country. Get a look at the crotch on this guy! He showed up to the booth without any papers and
I wanna
instead
try
gave me a
something.
declaration of love. I mean, it won't work, but hot damn do I feel appreciated. I tell you, people are just getting sloppier and sloppier. They're not even showing up at the
Yep, okay.
anymore. Oh, hey, it's the lady Dimitri told me to let in. Let's just make sure she's in. Her documents are wrong. She doesn't have the right papers. This diplomatic paper isn't good in Arstotzka. I gotta kick her out. I kick out the people without the proper paperwork. That's what the government told me to do. But the government also told me to let this lady in. I kicked her out. I had to. I have to do my job. I get through the rest of the day without incident and even managed to set a new record with 15 people processed. God, I hope I get more plaques. So people don't lose their rights just because they're sick anymore. Show proof of vaccination and we're all cool. This does finally get me to my last goal of the game. I have so many papers to look at, I can no longer see my desk. Alright, let's get this one over with. Oh, no papers and nicely done. See you next... Come on! You don't have anything. No permits, no vaccination chart, no supplementary card, nothing. I can't let her into the country. It's against the law. But it's for Sergiu! But Sergiu works for the government too! He should know better than anybody! Just give her the red stamp, Jack. Just give her the red stamp. It's nothing personal, it's just your job. You're not a bad person. You're not a bad person. I'm not a bad person! I just gotta barrel through the rest of the day. I can't let it play on my mind too much that I think I did the right thing. Huh, check this out. He kinda looks like Georgie. Oh, he's a criminal just like him. Here I thought he'd... No. No, I did not just break the rules so you three could kill Sergiu. Right in line like the rest of us. The worst possible thing has happened. My good deeds have had a tangible positive effect on my life. Do you know how hard that makes my job? Sergiu's moving to a new post tomorrow and they've updated the paperwork again. Thankfully, though, it's to make my job easier. The supplementary and entry permits have been merged into one and suddenly I have room to breathe. First time the government's done something to make my job easier, which I don't need because I love my job. The president can do a Kamehameha. I bet my president could beat up your president. Oh my God, leave me alone.
Well, he hasn't helped us with anything we've asked him to in the past, but I feel like if we keep going, we'll break him eventually.
Ma'am, you need a vaccination pass to enter the country. Well, then you aren't gonna believe this one either. Okay, so people haven't been very happy about the Atlan region getting their passports taken away, so they've ruined it for everybody else. Now every Arstotzkian has their passports taken away. No exceptions. Super excited to find an exception. Now that we're getting closer and closer to the end of the game, the less and less new stuff is piled on. Just so long as I can stay alive and do a good job until the end of the year, we might be able to get out of this alive. I mean, people are still getting shot and blown up at my checkpoint, but we're at the point where that's just a regular thing. Oh, you shot a guy. Come back when you can innovate on the game. Next day starts and things are going pretty normal until Georgie comes on. It's pretty standard Georgie fare at first until he slips me a piece of paper saying he can get me and my family out of the country by getting us fake passports. Hey, let me help you get a deal on a new car. I've crashed enough to know how much they're worth. Shame it is that he has all his papers up to date. That makes the choice a lot more difficult. Oh my God, he even gives me his own passport to help me. George is a saint. Things are starting to get really complicated when a father drops off a picture of his murdered daughter and asks me to let the guy who did it into the country so he can kill him himself. Sir, your goals of child murder are noble, but I can't just let you be judge, jury, and executioner. Don't try and muscle in on my turf. Next day comes and my boss chews me out for not letting his funny friend through customs and says he won't be giving me any more plaques. Guys, I don't know about you, but I'm starting to have doubts about my government. Child Murder Willie comes to my post and come on, nobody in prison likes a child murderer. He'll be dead by the end of the day. This is really impacting my performance. I got 2 citations real early on, so I gotta stay on high alert for the rest of the day. I can't let anybody in with any more sob stories. God, I hope we're attacked again. Okay, so we strip them of their rights, but we let them keep their passports. Do they get to use them as food? Moving on to our last day before the checkpoint gets closed down and we move on to our pasture. We just gotta play the
nice
card. Don't make a fuss, and maybe, just maybe, get out of this. my final performance review. I served our Stoneskill well, and even though I may have led a few mass murderers into the country, I saved my job, myself, and my family. The happy music's playing right now. That means I must have
Wait,
done
what?
good things. They wouldn't play the happy music otherwise. Oh my god, this game's political!
I keep accidentally using the fire arrows. Apparently the weapon unsheathing animation cancel thingy is faster for this infinite run exploit thingy. But like, I know the whistle the most. And I'm too lazy to learn the other method. I mean, it does also have the benefit of not alerting anyone. But again, I'm just too lazy. Oh hey, I forgot that's a thing now. Wow. Look
Hello
at this
everybody,
guy.
I'm Honk, but you can just call me Caleb, and this is my rank of pretty much every single Punch-Out fight, which amounts to 6.
Ooh. I gotta pee.
makes the calibrated sculk sensor a much more precise redstone component. That's not the only exciting thing introduced in this snapshot. Blocks of amethyst can now be used to pass along sculk vibrations, which means that we can chain sculk sensors together and store the sound that was originally transmitted. Let's do some experiments. I have a button panel with 5 different buttons, and I want each of these buttons to do different things. Not much point in having 5 different buttons to do the same thing, is there? Now I want to set these signals distance, making use of wireless redstone, and I think using separated sculk sensors in the amethyst blocks run fine. The first thing I have to do is create 5 different sounds. 2 of those sounds are pretty easy. We've got block activate, block deactivate. There are also 2 separate sounds that
Whoa!
are connected to the block place, block move, or block break. And I'm really curious to see if powder snow counts as a block.
Yeah, okay, so Beetle is indeed a certified badass in this mod.
That'll be very handy. So a block being placed gives out a
Oh,
signal
these are
strength of
worthless.
13, so I've got a signal strength
At least
of
they're
13
cheap.
running inside of this calibrated sculk sensor. Means it should only give a signal if a block gets placed and that's actually working, which means the block breaking should also be working too. Fantastic. That's 4 of our 5 sounds.
I'd say that's
done.
worth
I've
it.
got something slightly curious here. So if I fire a snowball
I
into a
don't
block,
actually know the base
it
price
gets
of the
counted
Beetles.
as redstone
Okay,
signal
yeah,
strength
worth it.
2, which is an item landing. If I remove that block, I would have thought it would then be a redstone signal strength 9 or 10, which is...
You know, I'm gonna go empty my pockets.
But it actually gets
I'm pretty sure I'm close to getting the first Blood Moon trigger.
But thanks to that discovery, I now have 7 different buttons, all with different redstone signal strengths.
I'm just gonna buy some more arrows.
For blocks changing state, so I've got a composter being built up. Now let's create a line of sculk sensors that these sounds are going to travel now. Because remember, we're not sending redstone signals here, we're sending sounds. This is sort of the first soundstone redstone contraption, so I would say our line looks like it's long enough, so let's quickly make sure we can actually send sounds down this thing. Yep, that is all working well. Now we decode the signal. Now there are a few ways to do this. I can actually use a regular sculk sensor and a red coder, but I think making use of the calibrated sculk sensor should make life a lot easier, because all I have to do is run the redstone signal strings that I've written over here into the calibrated sculk
That is running
sensors
costs so much
that I have
stamina.
placed over here. The difficult part is actually remembering what they are. I've got 3, I've got 12, 13, 9, 10, and 11. Now a moment of truth. 7 inputs, 1 wireless line, 7 outputs. Okay. Button number 1. And we have activated output number 1. Okay, what if I do the middle one? Let's see.
I wonder if the next episode Preciore's already been
It takes a
translated.
little while to send the signal, but it is actually working. Everything is lining up properly.
You know what? I don't think I need to even waste a key here.
This is wild. I'm able to send different redstone signals wirelessly through the same line. I don't even know what to say. That is very fancy indeed, and it's also really quite simple. Like, there's not much going on up here. There's basically nothing going in the middle, and then the back end
Oh my god.
is just this. It's slightly faster, but still. Let's move on. I always like
That was
the idea
stupid.
of opening this scope sensors, but the issue is if you make any other
That was the best.
process of approaching the door, supposed to detect that and not open that has since changed. Let me just do a look. Just a little bit. Should hopefully do the trick. Right, this door is closed. This door, oh my goodness, this is always check because now with the timings correct. Yeah, our door is closed, our door is open, everything is working beautifully. So let's connect this up to a little calibrated sculk sensor. So if I place this in like this, then we can run our comparator into the side. Now currently it is detecting every noise, including the sound of the redstone contraption, which is why it keeps opening and closing. Not ideal.
I am adding 2 enemies to spawn
We can get rid of that. So I've got a single string button running into the side of our calibrated sculk sensor.
every Blood Moon now.
Essentially have an invisible pressure plate. Our door is only going to open when a player approaches it. That's pretty cool and incredibly futuristic, but there's also other use cases for this sort of redstone contraption. For example,
Enabling a spell to show up all day counts.
now normally this would require some secret activation device.
I have enough.
A torch key or throwing a specific item on the ground, but now we can actually do it with specific sound. Preferably not footsteps, because footsteps are quite common in Minecraft. You know, it's not much of a hidden entrance if someone who's trying to find your entrance just walk and it opens. Some
I'm gonna
blocks
go
probably work better. So if I run a single string
do this shrine as well. Just teleport out of the cliff, get my memory, use my last teleporter to get back to Pyrrha and then not Pyrrha, Empa. And then Big Bamboo Bam Champ and Wabham.
That's the only way that I can open this thing. That's actually super useful though, because everyone in Minecraft uses armor. You don't have to carry any specific item with you. You just take off.
That's like my catchphrase at this point. It's kind of absurd how I'm always able to say it consistently. It's bing, bam, boom, bam, sham, wham, flam, fam. Bing bam boom bam sham flam flam fam. Okay, I still break it up occasionally. Oh gaga! That was mean. I hate spear enemies the most. What? I don't think I'll lose fairies since they're not in my key items. And Dark Army Resurrection only removes key items in the inventory. And since I disabled fairies being a key item, and I can use glitches to get infinites of them now again. Can a spear version of you spawn for once? That's
the only way you're going to be able to do it. Anyway, that's enough secret stuff. I think there are still some interesting use cases for these calibrated scope sensors inside of redstone contraptions. The ability to send a signal between two redstone circuits without needing a wire to connect them could potentially make some big changes to redstone contraptions.
30 attack, now that's a claymore. Baby.
Just being incredibly clear, this is not the intended use case. Like, I'm not saying that this.
I'm actually just gonna get rid of this. The battle axe at least is still useful.
How well it could potentially work. Okay, so we've got the bottom section done. Now it's time for the top section, and this is how I'm going to make. I need to think of a unique sound that has a specific.
Which I am actually going to use right away. Now that I think about it, considering who I'm gonna be fighting in a quick hot minute.
That sound sent to the top of the redstone circuit without any wires. Now, having experimented with this earlier, I would say item interaction is probably the best one to choose from, because that doesn't happen regularly in redstone circuits, and also with the player, because you have to remember, if I show something that the player probably does as they're walking up to the door, then that means that that sound is also going to go into the redstone circuit, which would be great. So the firing of a snowball sounds pretty good to me. It's also going to sound pretty good to the calibrated scope sensor. This is a little bit more challenging than I thought it might be. Oh gosh, this is such a mess. I mean, the door builders already laugh at me. This is laughable even by my standards. Please just remember, this is just a proof of concept. I just want to see if it would work, and in theory, there's no reason why it shouldn't. There we go. So that's kind of interesting. I mean, this is broken. That's not good. Thankfully, quite an easy fix. But other than that, this entire door, the entire top section of this door, is activated wirelessly by firing a snowball out of the physical.
I predict they'll start off with lasers.
That is quite curious. That could potentially,
Well, at least here's a spear guy.
solve a complicated redstone.
Damn it, I meant to run, but I pressed the wrong button. Let me show you how to spin to win. Properly. Not bad, as far as treasure is concerned.
I had to do an extra with excellent. Yeah. You get some very fountain. I wonder if I have enough. Yeah. Qualities can be beautiful. Qualities can be beautiful. I don't know, my utilities have been long. Like last week, it never started Friday. I got this week. Oh, that's when I got the meeting.
Armrat.
Yeah,
Just remember, these are actually potentially useful.
Days I can't.
Guess that's awesome.
I guess my brother's back. Back up. It doesn't go.
Fuck.
That was like a
Not Rust if you're alive, you'll get pooped out eventually.
ASMR. Oh god.
I forgot if Blood Moons and stuff stole your rupees. Actually, Punitive Blood Moon isn't a thing anymore. My god. What am I worrying about? I wouldn't say getting the arrows was a waste of money anyhow, still. Why? Pretty chilly. Apparently there's gonna be like a 40-degree Celsius heat wave happening soon. So that's pretty scary, I guess. Oh, I need acorns. Gosh darn it. I completely forgot about that. Right, well. All that's left now is for me to start doing the quests. Well, it doesn't change my defense and I like the way it looks, so... Oh! Dang it. Oh, that was a lot of shield damage lost. My bad. I think potentially I can just sell this. The sneaky foods I get. You get a lot of them, but... They sure get knocked around. I'll take this, why not? Oops. I think it's about time I started using my stronger bows. Whoa! I forgot about that. I want to make a save. Right. I swear if this still crashes. I can go eat some of these now. No! Maybe that was just a fluke.
1年くらい前かな、めちゃくちゃ今も流行ってますけど、アマンガースというゲーム、これがそういうゲームが流行ってても、自分の友達いっぱいいないとできないなって思った時に、オンラインでできるじゃんってなったんです。オンラインでやるとき、当時はまだね、大変だったのが、韓国が英語。だからサーバーが入る。
Think back to the last time you created something. Literally anything. A website, a dish, a YouTube video, maybe even a damn tweet. Was it perfect on your first try? Because I'm willing to bet that it wasn't. Probably wrote a tweet, deleted some text, and then rewrote it with better wording. Most things aren't immediately perfect, and there's nothing more normal than going back to refine it. And of course, fighting games are no exception. There is a long list of messy first versions of fighting games that will prove that to you. That's it, I'm going to the gym. But that's understandable. I mean, there's so much that can go wrong in a fighting game. Character balance, system balance, the actual coding. You can test each aspect of the game as much as you can afford, but some random player on Twitter is still going to discover a crack in the design and break your game in the first week of release. But with updates, we hope to see a game that improves more and more over time. Whether that looks like better system mechanics or better character balance. I mean, we all love Patch Day. It's an event. You know, I can't wait to see whether my character got buffs or whether they got nerfed or maybe even worse, no changes at all. But no matter what that change list might say, we can all find peace knowing one thing. Your character isn't going to change so much that they become two different characters. But new 13 players can't say the same.
No way. Why?
U13
Maybe I
is
should just
the
give up on
zone
Hero
of Blaze Blue.
Rebalanced.
In this series, every character has a drive. It's typically their defining feature, and Mia's drive is the Sword Summoner. This, she'll harass you with swords no matter where you are on the screen, but she's got a lot more than that in her arsenal. She also has Sickle Storm, a low-hitting sword that travels across the ground, which can also be used in reverse. This enables long-range mix-up between her overhead drive and Sickle Storm. Spike Chaser, a wall of swords that appear from the ground in succession. This special move will cover the ground while you're busy covering the skies. Gravity Sieve, a field that reduces the opponent's horizontal movement by 70% when they're above it. Act Passer? I don't know, apparently this is a mistranslation of a car, but I'm not a car person. It's a teleport-like dash cancel that can be used after certain moves on hit or block. She can also go backwards too. Neat. For supers, she has Legacy Edge and Calamity Sword, which is her only reversal. U13 is simple. Her toolkit is strong and her game plan is intuitive. Run away, fire swords. Her most prominent drive attack, 5D, that's this one, follows up with an easy go-to combo, but if they block, well, then it also has an easy go-to mix-up between her overhead, 4D, and the low-hitting Sickle Storm. Even if they block this mix-up, just keep zoning. You've got a plethora of great special moves to
I
help
don't
you
know
out
what to
anyway,
do.
and using them comes naturally the more familiar you become with the character. Honestly, I think she's easier than she looks. The fact that she's a super top tier is only a